my name is Victor Yu. I work at Oregon National Lab. So today I will be presenting a GPU accelerated many-body perturbation theory code for large-scale simulations. And this work was done in collaboration with Professor Marco Gavoni. So the development of our code has been motivated by applications in renewable energy and also quantum technologies, for which we use first principle simulations to study ground state and excited state properties of large heterogeneous systems. For instance, defects in semiconductors for quantum information science, and also solid-liquid interfaces for photocatalysis. So because we are interested in not only ground state, but also excited states, we need something beyond density functional theory. And we chose the many-body perturbation theory. And because we, to study large defect and interface and surfaces, we need to work with more than 1,000 atoms. So to meet these requirements, we developed a code called WEST. Its main features are summarized here. It can compute GW and electron phonon self-energies, and it can simulate excitation processes using either time-dependent density functional theory or solving the Best-Salpeter equation or using a quantum defect embedding theory. So the name WEST actually means without empty states, which means that all the functionalities can be done without summation over empty states, which is a bottleneck in conventional algorithms. So the code is interfaced with several popular electronic structure codes through a Python layer and also widely used data formats like JSON, XML, and HDF. And also it's interfaced with TensorFlow to do machine learning to speed up BSE calculations, and also Qiskit for solving the quantum defect theory effective Hamiltonian on quantum computers. So the code also works on classic supercomputers. So it's a MPI plus OpenMP plus GPU code, and it scales to like 500,000 CPU cores and over 26,000 GPUs. So the GPU porting of WEST makes use of GPU libraries and OpenCC directives. So the code has been used in production on a number of NVIDIA GPU supercomputers, including machines in the US and also in Europe. And the GPU version, we achieved a big speed up over the CPU version, which I'll show you in a moment. And also it scales very good on various supercomputers. And we are able to simulate systems with over 10,000 electrons using full frequency GW. So I'd like to show you how the code is ported to GPUs using an example. So shown here is the workflow of the WEST code. So we start from a ground state density functional theory calculation by using quantum espresso or QBox. And then we do a step called PDAP, which is an algorithm to diagonalize the static dielectric matrix using density functional perturbation theory. And this PDAP can be used by GW to compute GW self-energies, and which in turn defines an effective Hamiltonian for the quantum defect embedding theory. And the PDAP is also used to compute screened Coulomb integrals, which are needed in the BSE calculation. And this pseudocode shows the PDAP algorithm. As you can see, there are 4 loops. And in the CPU version of the code, we only used 2 levels of parallelism, which are enough to efficiently use many CPU cores. But as we know, GPUs are more powerful than CPUs. So to have enough work for the GPU, we actually had to expose all the levels of parallelism in the algorithm to the GPU device. So here we have a 4-level parallelization, which allows us to efficiently use thousands of GPUs concurrently. And also this parallelization also gives us the flexibility to tune the data distribution and therefore the matrix size on a local GPU. So this page shows the performance of a matrix multiplication encountered in our code, and our old default distribution only achieves like 6% of the peak performance of a NVIDIA A100 GPU. And this is because the performance of a matrix multiplication depends on the size of the matrices. And our old default distribution leads to a very tall and skinny matrix with only 4 columns. And this doesn't look like a good idea. And our new 5-level parallelization gives us the chance to tune the data distribution, and we can push the DGEMM from the memory bound regime into the compute bound regime where we don't have any tall and skinny matrix. And then we can achieve like over 85% of the peak performance because for compatible matrix sizes, actually the cuBLAS library automatically utilized the double precision tensor cores, which gave us very high performance. And the matrix computations and other OpenCC uploaded computations can be overlapped with communications. And also we do certain operations in single precision to further boost the performance. But I won't go into details of all the optimization. But instead, I want to show you the performance of the code. So shown here is a GW calculation for a cadmium selenide nanoparticle with like 800 electrons. And we can see the code, the CPU version works very well on old CPU-based supercomputers, as shown here on the right. And on the left is the performance on GPU-based supercomputers, including Perlmutter and Summit. For example, the red line corresponds to Perlmutter, and each node has 4 A100 GPUs. And as we can see, the code can efficiently use at least more than 1,000 GPUs. And on both CPUs and GPUs, the scalability is very good. Of course, the parallel efficiency is even better if you do a bigger system. So for example, on Summit, we were able to use almost every node of Summit to do a GW calculation for a silicon supercell containing 1,700 atoms. And also for quantum defect embedding theory, we can use at least 500 Perlmutter nodes for a NV defect center in diamond containing about 1,000 atoms. And recently we worked on time-dependent density functional theory with hybrid functionals and with forces, which means that we can optimize the geometry of excited states. And again, it scales very well. And for all the functionalities, we are able to simulate over 1,000 atoms, and we are able to use thousands of GPUs. And here's just another example of large-scale calculations. So we can do over 10,000 electrons for the silicon nitride interface, and also for double vacancy in silicon carbide, which is relevant for quantum technologies. And we can compute not only just a few quasi-particle states, but actually hundreds of them, which means that we can plot the density of states, which, as far as I know, was not possible on previous CPU-only supercomputers. So moving forward to X-scale computing, currently our code uses CUDA libraries and OpenCC directives, and it works very well on supercomputers and clusters powered by NVIDIA GPUs, as I just showed you. But unfortunately, as I mentioned also in the previous talk, the first X-scale supercomputers deployed in the United States. Actually, they use AMD GPUs on Frontier and also Intel GPUs on Aurora. So although the programming these different GPUs are probably, I mean, conceptually similar, but actually the details are very different. So if we want to port our code to AMD and Intel GPUs, so our solution would be our data distribution layer is agnostic to GPU vendor. So we are going to use MPI to handle the like distributed part as shown in this figure. But for each local MPI process, how to offload the calculation to a GPU, which can be NVIDIA, AMD, or Intel, is currently a question to us. So we would like to keep using OpenCC, but we are not sure if OpenCC is going to be supported and optimized on AMD and Intel GPUs. So the previous talk sort of gave me some hope on Frontier, but on Aurora, which has Intel GPUs, it's rather unclear at the moment. So what we are exploring is a semi-automatic conversion between OpenACC and OpenMP, because the OpenMP target offloading, the syntax is rather similar to the syntax of OpenACC offloading, and there have been utilities published by both Intel and AMD to automatically convert between OpenCC and OpenMP directives. And we tried this conversion, and it works for like maybe 2/3 of our OpenCC code, and for the remaining third, we had to like correct the mistakes made by the conversion tools. But the point is, we want to keep the flexibility to like switching between the two directives and to compare the performance of OpenACC versus OpenMP on any given hardware. And based on the comparison, we decide which way to go. So to conclude, I introduced the West code, which is a highly parallel, highly efficient many-body perturbation theory code for material simulations. And it was ported to NVIDIA GPUs using OpenCC. And we do like the OpenCC programming model, and we hope we can keep using it for X-scale machines. And I showed you the performance and scalability of the code, and it can do many-body perturbation theory for over 10,000 electrons without any problem. And here are the individuals and organizations who helped us on this project. And I thank the funding provided by the US DOE through the MICOM Center. Actually, that's all I want to present, and I look forward to your questions. Thank you.